Welcome back after that exciting semifinal match. You got to talk to me about it a little bit more.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting. They play a lot at the locals, so two familiar with each other players, so they kind of know, and they are able to make these plays that might be safe, but also might be taking advantage of what they know about each other. And just both really great players. I think Alex Aaron definitely leaving this regional pretty pleased, improving on his last finish. As well as walking away with a big chunk of CP that'll help him get to Worlds eventually. Yeah. Whereas Alex Underhill, he came into this tournament not really that prepared, over-prepared or anything like that, but not super over-prepared is kind of the best way to enter a tournament. Just enough prep so that you can play at your best.
Yeah, and we definitely saw them playing at their best. We're going to see two more players playing at their best as well. It is going to be Jake Magier now versus... just blanked. Yeah, but Allan Martinez.
Allan Martinez, that's the one.
Yes. And we are going to be rounding out our top two for the finals after this one. So this is going to be the decider match to see who's going to take it all home.
Right, and I haven't been on to commentate one of Jake Magier's matches yet, and he's kind of a good friend of mine. We met a while ago, and he's a really cool guy. He's a bit passionate when it comes to the competitive side of things, as we've seen or maybe heard already.
Yeah.
But he's got a cool team here and was able to pilot it very well.
Yeah.
Whereas Allan Martinez, his team is a shocker.
Right, and we got a chance to see some of those shocking elements to Allan Martinez's team, and I got a chance to talk to Allan after his win in the quarterfinals to talk about some of those interesting integrations into the team. So we did mention Weavile. We talked about the Ho-Oh because he just doesn't want to run a Xerneas, but we got to talk about that Tapu Koko again.
Yeah, so Tapu Koko here, running that quick attack, really indicative of choice band. You really don't see quick attack. It's so weak without any kind of boost, and not being normal type, Tapu Koko doesn't even receive the same type of attack bonus. And even among priority moves, quick attack is probably one of the weakest, falling behind the utility of moves like feint or fake out, and just being a plain old, weak priority move.
But it did its work.
Yeah,
so
it
might seem like a weak choice on paper, but in the moment, it was the best choice that Allan could have made in order to seal out that game too.
Right. And, quick attack, really rogue. I even forgot about it for a while there, since we do see that information, but can't reveal it to you, of course. But, quick attack is an option to put in Tapu Koko's, fairly dearth physical move pool. You've got Wild Charge and U-Turn. You even got some other moves like Brave Bird. We've seen that on stream as well, but not on Allan's Tapu Koko. So maybe he doesn't carry it, or maybe he carries another move. Either way, Jake is actually going to lock in, so maybe he was thinking about this matchup already. But again, his team is more of a Xerneas Groudon, protect the Xerneas mode, 2 redirectors. And we're going to jump into the game and see what they can do.
Yeah, so we're going to start out with the leads already. Jake and Allan ready to battle it out here, and I'm so excited to be able to get into this action. We were talking to Allan a little bit before, very confident about making it to the finals, but is also a little scared about this matchup against Jake, and I can see why. Jake's starting out with the bread and butter of VGC 2019, which is going to be that Xerneas and the Incineroar, and Allan Martinez matching it now with the Weavile Tapu Koko leads that we saw when he first played.
Yeah, these are some interesting leads. Sticking with the bread and butter when you're up against a team and you don't really know what it's supposed to do is usually a good way to, get momentum early and keep momentum going through. I'm not really sure what Allan's game plan is. He definitely knows a lot more about his own team than I do, but I just know that both players really want to make it to finals here, and I would be glad to see either of them go on.
Yeah, especially because you're at that point kind of incentivizing intelligent team building, because both of these players have really done a great job of crafting just a kind of an interesting strategy.
All right, they're going to go ahead and lock in on Jake's side here for the moves. Protect from Xerneas is going to stop. Fake out, knock off, taunt, and Micro Crash. No flinches, no nothing, no damage. Fake out going to go right into that Xerneas. So good call there as U-Turn from Tapu Koko. Going to send it back out.
Yeah, so as quickly as we saw that Tapu Koko come in, you see that U-Turn in your moveset, you go ahead and use it because that's the name of the game in 2019. And Allan's now going to send out Ho-Oh. Very interesting to bring out Ho-Oh into a Zern Incineroar, but then Incineroar's not sticking around either. Gonna battle it out with its own. Oh my goodness.
That did a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Weavile not known for being the bulkiest of Pokemon here. It definitely wasted its turn by fake outing into that Protect. And U-turn is going to send out that Incineroar.
Wow, and a Groudon coming out in its place in order to make it very sunny. That might help out Ho-Oh just a little bit here, but not too much. I think that Groudon coming out is going to put a lot of pressure on that Ho-Oh.
Yeah, we saw in the last game with Allan that Nick Navarre was running a Groudon with Stone Edge, so if this Groudon also carries a Rock move, Ho-Oh's in some good danger, even though it has that boosted power on Sacred Fire, like you mentioned. Weavile's still here, has that Icicle Crash, can threaten some damage and potentially the flinch onto Groudon. So not everything is bad here, but I do expect there to be some changing around.
And we're going to see some of those changes right now as Xerneas gets swapped out of the mix in favor of the Incineroar again. So another Intimidate finding its mark on that Weavile and Ho-Oh. And that just means we're going to see even more damage mitigation here on that Weavile. But Knockoff coming out too onto the Incin slot. Not going to do a whole lot there.
Yeah, but it is going to knock off that barrier.
Yeah.
The important bit here.
It is very, very important. Sacred Fire going to the Groudon, and Groudon... Oh, that miss!
That was really crucial. So neither player really got what they wanted in that turn.
No.
I'm sure that Allan was going for the burn, Sacred Fire burn onto Groudon to make sure it did less damage. But Rock Tomb being shown and missing at 95 accuracy, these moves do miss. There is no really accurate Rock move, so Pokemon are forced to run these, less accurate moves in order to cover their options.
I mean, the options are very limited there, especially because we know most of Jake's Groudon moveset now. We've seen the Precipice Blades. We saw Swords Dance was a very interesting move to have on your Groudon there. And then Rock Tomb to follow it up. I think Allan's probably feeling pretty good about that Rock Tomb miss right now. And you're going to see Jake has to adjust his strategy a little bit, seeing that happened. Tapu Koko coming back out, a fake out onto the Ho-Oh, and that classic Icicle Crash coming out from Allan's Weavile. Going to find its mark on the Tapu Koko, but it's not super effective.
Yeah, and that Tapu Koko looks to be a lot bulkier. We did see it on stream earlier survive an Acid Spray plus Moonblast combination. So definitely an Assault Vest carrier, and those tend to be more bulky. Still fast, but not super offensive and more support relegated. So now with two support Pokemon, Jake is going to have to find a way to deal more damage.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of damage on either of the Pokemon on Jake's side. Not really on Allan's side either. You really only have the Icicle Crash that does the most damage from the Weavile on Allan's side. But this is going to just be some trades of chip damage back and forth.
Yeah, get some repositioning as well here, just to make sure that they can prepare for mid and late game. Tapu Koko hitting the field is good for Allan, however. He's going to make sure that he has that damage output and hasn't been intimidated, so it's in a pretty good position to do a lot of damage.
A lot of damage indeed, but you're going to start out with a U-turn from Jake's side of the field. That is going to finish off Weavile, and Weavile is only going to see the light of day once with a single Icicle Crash from Allan's side. That U-turn going to remove Incineroar from the mix for now, and Jake's going to have to figure out what he wants to put in his place. Just a lot of repositioning, like you said, coming out from both slots on Jake's side for the last couple of turns. Now we're going to match it with a Tapu Koko, so we've got Alolan Guardians on the field. Not like that matters too much in this terrain matchup because they're both running Koko.
All right, and for Allan, it's going to be that Kyogre. So this is going to be great to reset the weather, but Groudon can easily come back in, reset that weather. But at least you've got the pressure, the threat of Water Spout or Origin Pulse onto both of Jake's attackers here. And you don't want to take a lot of damage on your Xerneas, which looks to be the main attacker of the team.
Yeah, you gotta protect your damage dealer because you need to be able to do damage in order to win the game. I think that just this specific format has been kind of classically coined as just an offensive variant of VGC. And you're going to see, though, that Groudon's now going to come out and just reset the weather, like you said. So
yeah, here's the Water Spout. It's going to connect. I don't expect Groudon to go down. Maybe eat up that berry it was carrying.
Yeah.
But it does a lot more to Tapu Koko now that Assault Vest is off. But it does leave the opposing Tapu Koko on Allan's side free to do whatever it wants.
We're going to see exactly what it's going to choose. Ooh, but the Wild Charge finding its mark onto the Groudon slot. So that was an excellent switch out from Jake, but that knockout is going to hurt for Allan.
Yeah, it is going to be a trade here. Yep. Wild Charge does give recoil, so they're going to trade Tapu Koko for Kyogre, but I think one of those Pokemon was definitely more important than the other.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. And you care to tell us what that one is?
It's going to be the Kyogre, of course.
Yeah.
So, not being able to reset the weather, here's Incineroar, and going to be forced to bring in the last Pokemon, Ho-Oh.
And Ho-Oh here is going to struggle a little bit, but there is a glimmer of hope for Allan, and it is going to be that Groudon missing its mark yet again on the Rock Tomb. So we'll just see whether or not that is the case, because that's going to be the damage dealer right now for Jake's side of the field, and I think he's in a pretty good position against what Allan has on the table.
Yeah, we saw that Choice Band Tapu Koko lock into Wild Charge, so there's really no way to hit Groudon on Tapu Koko's end anymore. Ho-Oh will have to do all the heavy lifting itself, but Fake Out is going to stop it from doing that.
Yeah, that Fake Out is going to make sure that you don't get any of that damage out there, and that's going to be a Wild Charge from Allan's Tapu Koko, not doing nearly enough to be able to knock out that Incineroar, so they're still going to have that support on the table, but that's not going to miss, but that's not going to be a clean knockout either.
Right, and that is unfortunate for Jake that he missed the knockout, but Rock Tomb's secondary effect, which is lowering speed, really crucial. It might allow the Groudon to outspeed Ho-Oh on this turn and, clean the game up, since being locked into Wild Charge against the ground type is pretty much guaranteed to make you not win the game, right?
Yeah, that's very true, but that Wild Charge is going to find its mark just to finish off the Incineroar, which was Allan's plan all along, and now that means that Jake is finally down to his last two Pokemon, but Allan is going to have a lot of trouble with just a Tapu Koko on board against a Groudon at all.
I think it's going to be just impossible unless he runs out of power points on that Wild Charge, starts getting some struggles, and maybe crits.
I have a feeling that Coco's not going to last that long.
I feel like this match won't either. So we're probably just going to have to move on to Game 2 on Allan's end. Maybe think a bit about, where did things go wrong? I kind of had an idea of what to do. But, I just couldn't put out damage efficiently enough. I had to trade my Kyogre. Maybe we'll figure out what to do next game.
Yeah, Kyogre was a huge loss on Allan's side. So, what could you really rely on except your Ho-Oh? And your Ho-Oh was super, super weak against the Groudon, even with that original Rock Tomb miss. So we will see a forfeit coming out from Allan and just a reset moving into Game 2. Clear heads, clear minds, new team strategy.
Yeah, Weavile didn't really work out too well for Allan either in that game. Definitely wasted a lot of its potential by faking out into the Protect on Xerneas. And, Jake just kind of pivoted around using those U-turn, Volt Switch moves, very important in this format. So I do want to see, Allan take a little more initiative on what he thinks is going to be the end of the turn board state. But we'll see how they adjust here. Allan's just going to need to figure out how to deal damage and not lose as much tools as he did.
Yeah, I feel like you might want to make a little bit of an adjustment in the support Pokemon that you bring alongside your restricteds, but both players seem to know exactly what they want to do, so that's going to be a very short team preview, and we're going to go back into it now, potentially seeing some new leads here as we see an adjustment of strategy from both of these players. I want to commend Jake, though, because you're absolutely right about the masterful use of the repositioning from the U-turn and the Volt Switch that we saw, because he was just able to play it safe. But we are going to see very different leads from Allan now, leading with the Kyogre, and we're seeing the Weavile again, but same leads from Jake.
Yeah, so this turn is actually very interesting. Both players have Fake Out on deck, but Weavile also commonly carries a move known as Feint, and that, of course, we've seen it on stream, breaks through Protect. It could let Kyogre do a lot of damage if the Incineroar does not stop that damage. Maybe a little unsafe to go for in turn 2 of or game 2 of an elimination set. So we're just going to see what they choose to do. Maybe a trade of Fake Outs is best for this turn, or maybe a switch to Groudon and reset the weather. We'll just see.
There's a lot of options here, so I like that you're picking apart every single one of them, and I'm sure these players are kind of considering all of those as well because they're taking their time in order to figure that out. But I would assume that there's going to be some type of Fake Out on either side. and some damage.
It's a great move, so I don't see why they wouldn't use it, right?
I agree.
Classic doubles formats always use fake out. It's just one of the greatest moves in the game for doubles formats.
Ooh. No, we're not going to see a fake out from that Incineroar. We're actually going to see a swap out in favor of the Groudon, resetting that weather. So that's one of the options that we considered for Jake to kind of go with. So he's going to go ahead and try to win that weather war at the moment. A fake out coming out from Allan's side of the field onto the Groudon. So that's a little unfortunate there, not reading that switch. But that water spout is going to do a decent chunk of damage and get that Groudon pretty low.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the major downside to not faking out that Xerneas was letting it get that Geomancy. So it's going to go ahead and eat that herb. Going to charge up and be faster than both of Allan's Pokemon.
And there's nothing to really deal with that on either side because I don't think we saw a Trick Room possibility from Allan's team. So he doesn't have that out in order to deal with this boosted Xerneas. So he's going to have to figure out something else. Yeah,
we do remember he has Tailwind on Ho-Oh, but, Ho-Oh being not in at the moment means it can't help out its friends here. And, Groudon still being around means Rock Tomb is ever so present to handle that Ho-Oh should it come in to try and set a Tailwind. Weavile does have Focus Sash, so it can get off a last-ditch effort move before it leaves the stage if it wants. But really, I think, Allan has to preserve that fake-out pressure for later, seeing as Jake has his own fake-out pressure that's safely in the back.
That Incineroar is pretty protected right now because it is just sitting in its Pokeball at the moment. But Allan, I think, is going to need to make some swaps here.
Yeah, change the board position. Kyogre is really not doing much here. It takes a lot of damage from the boosted Xerneas. There it is.
Yeah, there is that switch, that Weavile coming out for the Amoonguss. This is a new Pokemon that we're seeing from Allan. We actually didn't see Amoonguss during the first set of the day. So I really do like that we are going to see that kind of absorption of damage here. But then Intimidate from the switch in on Jake's side for the Incineroar. That's, just more fake out pressure on the board, I guess. Dazzling Gleam, though. Wow.
Lots of damage here.
Yeah.
And Water Spout here.
Still not doing very much. That was like a minuscule amount of damage onto that Xerneas. Oh my goodness.
Definitely. The Sun reduction on water moves as well as, Water Spout being HP dependent means that it's just not going to do a whole lot of damage. And keeping it in was maybe one of the more questionable decisions here. Had the Kyogre instead of Weavile switched for moves, I feel like Allan would have been in a much better position. But we'll see what happens this turn as they kind of lock in really fast.
That was a very quick turn. It didn't seem like we were going to get too many words in between there. So I think these players know exactly what their game plan is going to be. We're going to see a double switch out from Allan now, bringing back the Weavile and the Ho-Oh. Maybe setting up for a Tailwind at some point with fake out pressure on board. But that Dazzling Gleam is going to do so much. Ooh, just hanging on there by a thread or a sash.
For a sash there, yep. Flare Blitz is going to come out there. No fake out. Just going to try to get the damage, maybe targeting down that Amoonguss slot. This is going to do a lot, even as a resisted hit. Yeah,
it's just because of that sunny day. You're seeing a lot of damage coming out because of the Groudon weather control.
Now, here is the fake out Tailwind opportunity we're talking about. That Focus Sash coming in real handy. Was able to stop Xerneas from, completely annihilating Weavile. But I'm not sure at this point, really, if the Tailwind will help too much. Allan's taken a lot of damage on his end of the field, and it's going to be hard to come back against boosted Xerneas at this point.
Yeah, that boosted Xerneas is just waiting and ready in order to annihilate Allan's team. But Allan's doing a pretty good job of repositioning his Pokemon, trying to preserve some of that burst damage for later on in the series, but he's got to make a move right here. And it looks like the move's going to be a critical hit fake out onto the Xerneas because he knows that that's putting out a lot of pressure.
All right. And we see the recover, though.
Wow.
Not what I expected. It definitely is more of a passive play as Flare Blitz from Incineroar comes out, targeting that Ho-Oh once again. So I don't know about that one. It really didn't seem like much was accomplished there.
He is a little bit more protected now, and I think that just trying to preserve Pokemon, you're just hanging on to that final hope here to be able to tie up the series because Jake's already in the driver's seat. So what can you really do if you're Allan to come back from this?
You need to get Kyogre in somewhere along the line, but Tailwind did not go up, so regardless of whether it comes in or not, Tailwind just needs to go up for Allan here. But Ho-Oh recovering, it kind of feels like Allan is getting into that mindset of, I'm playing not to lose.
Yeah.
He's kind of stalling the game so that he maybe has a chance, or maybe we'll try to find an opportunity. But right now, he's not finding it as the turn is going to start here.
Yeah, so that turn is going to start with a Weavile switch out, and that's going to mean the Amoonguss is going to take some damage from that Dazzling Gleam. It's still not too much, though, but there's a Z move now. Oh,
Here's a
boy.
surprise.
Yeah, that's a big surprise. That's going to be a Z move coming out from that Ho-Oh.
All right,
man.
yeah, I didn't expect this one to happen, so it's going to be that Supersonic Sky Strike. Wow.
Where is it finding its mark, though? That's the big question.
That's the big question. It's looking like the Xerneas.
Oh, yeah,
so
it is.
Xerneas, probably not taking this one.
Ooh, absolutely not. Being on the receiving end of that with less than a half HP, that's an absolute knockout there. Very clean from Allan, and I think he's going to feel pretty good about removing that pressure from the board. But Incineroar are going to probably go for a bit of a trade here. Not doing enough, though.
Yeah, this is great, actually. So now, maybe it was all calculated.
Yeah.
Incineroar took a lot of recoil damage from that flare, but Sun has finally gone away. There's no more Xerneas on the field. I don't think Jake has any, speed control there. So as long as Allan can get in his Kyogre safely, he might have this game sealed up.
We'll see what happens, though, because we're going to see that Tapu Koko come back onto the field and reset the battle terrain one more time. And this is revealing all of Jake's Pokemon at this point. I think that he's stuck with the same 4 that he did last game. I like that. But I also think he's going to struggle just a little bit not having that Groudon back on the field. You can see both of these players are trying to figure out how they're going to win that weather battle.
Right, and that's going to be the important part here. As long as Allan can get in Kyogre with the weather up, he should be able to get enough damage off where he can put himself in a winning position, especially with this Amoonguss on the field. And Sun is no longer up, so Flare Blitz might not even, reach a KO there. Rage Powder, all that threat of what Amoonguss does best.
Yeah, and that's going to eat the... Oh, it's not actually going to eat the Electro Web at all. That Electro Web is just a little bit of a spread damage finisher for that Ho-Oh. So Ho-Oh already kind of did its job, though, with that Supersonic Sky Strike. So you can kind of rest easy a little bit knowing that your Ho-Oh did it. But that Flare Blitz from the Incineroar... Oh, my goodness.
Very, very crucial KO.
Yeah.
It does mean that, Jake will win the Weather War and he gets the berry. So it's just, kind of going south after that good turn that Allan had with the Supersonic Sky Strike.
Yeah, I think this might be it. And I know that Allan's still going to leave with his head held high, though, because this is an amazing feat for him for the first cut regional.
That's right. And Kyogre's going to come in as well as, the very, very weakened Weavile. Still have Fake Out on board, but
That's
with
true.
Sun in the back, it does look very, very... I guess it's not impossible. There are always critical hits.
Of course. Critical hits. I mean, we're on the Critical Hit channel, so maybe we'll get a little bit of love from Twitch chat here. But I think that just looking at the health pool, looking at the tight matchups, I gotta say that I think that Jake just has this one.
Yeah. Okay, so Tapu Koko is going to go out into Groudon, get the weather reset, of course. Save Tapu Koko for later.
It's just a smart move, and it's only because you can reset the weather. Now it's in your favor. You're going to be mitigating damage coming out from Allan's Kyogre that Fake Out smartly onto the Incineroar.
Yeah, so it is going to be a dead turn from Jake, and this Origin Pulse is going to do quite a bit. Not enough to knock out Groudon, unfortunately.
No, that weather. And the berry! So you've got the Pinch Berry as well getting popped onto Groudon, and that's going to be like nothing ever happened.
Right. It is kind of a little bit more precarious for Jake, but I still think he has this in the back because of Tapu Koko, still very healthy in the back, just able to come in and seal up the game later. I think, Allan can take a double KO right here, but... what can you do with Tapu Koko sitting in the back?
We'll see what happens. I like it. I hope we're wrong. I hope we Caster Curse this so we can go to a game 3, right?
That's what we want to see.
Because we absolutely want to see more Pokemon. Looks like Jake's just playing it safe, though. Gonna bring back that Tapu Koko onto the field. Incineroar not really doing a whole lot here, trying to save that Fake Out pressure. And Groudon going for a Protect. So maybe Allan's going to be able to read this one right and smack into that Tapu Koko. I don't see this Origin Pulse doing enough to take that Alolan Guardian out. And we'll see. Oh, unfortunate that Icicle Crash is going to go into the Groudon slot.
Yeah, now this is going to get a little bit fishy. I do think that, having Tapu Koko in the back as your last one at full health was a good switch. You know, you can keep that fake out pressure for later, like you said. But right now, you know, we have to ask whether the Tapu Koko is actually faster or slower than Weavile. We've never checked up to this point. Never had the opportunity. And you know, bulkier Kokos tend to be a little slower than the you know, attacking type Tapu Kokos.
Ooh, so that's going to be another Origin Pulse in the sun, though. Not going to do enough to be able to take out that Groudon. Looks like Weavile's faster.
Is faster. So this is going to target the Tapu Koko for a lot of damage. So a flinch also.
And a flinch.
But Rock Tomb is going to hit and take out the Weavile.
But this is good. This is good for Allan. We know that the Kyogre is faster. So anything like the Origin Pulse or a Water... I think we know at this point that it's Choice Scarf.
Yes.
So it's going to be Origin Pulse. It is going to hit both, and it's going to knock out both if it lands.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I think, you know, Jake probably knows this and just going to go for Protect on Groudon, get the safe Incineroar coming in, and, you know, barring a miss, I'm pretty sure Jake might have this sealed up.
We'll see. It is going to... This is a good stall, though. So something that is going to be a little bit precarious for Jake is that the more that Groudon gets protected, the more that Allan is kind of able to wait out that sunlight and that terrain. So now with Tapu Koko going off of the field, that terrain's going to disappear as well. That sun might disappear next turn, too.
That's true. So it's really going to come down to whether, you know, Groudon can hit its moves or not. And this is definitely, you know, free fake out, free damage. It's just going to come down to whether you know, Kyogre can skillfully dodge Groudon's attack. And it's coming down to the wire if we're going to see a Game 3 or not. It's definitely doable, but it's not looking great. Not looking in Allan's favor at all.
I mean, right now, what can you realize? So Groudon has two options here. We've seen Precipice Blades. We've seen the Rock Tomb. If they go for a Rock Tomb, well, it's going to be Precipice Blades. It's going to hit.
It's going to connect. Yeah. So that's going to be game, set, and match then.
Wow.
Wow. That was actually way closer than we thought it was going to go.
I know.
Huh?
Oh, my goodness.
You know, we thought the passive play that Allan was going through was actually detrimental to his overall game plan. But in the end, he actually brought it back very close and just kind of relying on... you know, low accuracy moves missing their mark, but not this time. So, Ho-Oh revealing Supersonic Sky Strike, super cool.
Yeah, that was very cool to see.
Very rare set indeed.
And you know, I think still Allan kind of knew that this matchup was going to be a little bit tougher, just from looking at the powerhouse that was kind of put together for Jake. So Jake's been playing pretty well so far in this tournament, and now we're going to be seeing a Jake and an Alex in the finals.
All right. We'll come back with that finals soon, all right?
Yeah, so stay tuned.